Hello and welcome back to my channel. This card is inspired by this color combination that I found online. This was from some mood board. I'll actually leave the link in the description box below. I really wasn't sure what to make, so I decided to just pick a color combination I liked and run with it. So to start with, I have Salvaged Patina Distress Oxide, and I am inking up this panel that I have cut using the Fawn stackable stitched rectangle dies. This is the largest in the large set. I'm just inking this almost all the way to the bottom. I'm going to add a snowy border, so I don't need to cover that up right yet. So here, I'm just throwing out my heart garland portrait backdrop here. This is a new release from Fawn. I just wanted to get a feel for how big I needed to make my hillside. So I have another partial panel cut, and I'm going to use my stitched hillside borders, and I'm going to cut a little snowy border. Basically, I just needed to lay it on the whole 2 panels because I wanted to have enough of it showing that it was actually worth putting there. Now I have this kind of deep red cardstock and some gold glitter cardstock, and I have cut out the mini snowflakes from Fawn. I'm only using a couple of different ones here. They're all about the same size. They're slightly different shaped. And I'm going to glue the big ones on to each of the hearts because the hearts are cute, but I kind of wanted to change it up. It's one of my favorite things to do. And after those are glued, I have the opposite color in the tiniest little snowflakes, and I'm putting them in the center of each of the bigger snowflakes. And I did this just because I felt like it needed a little extra something. It looked a little too plain, so this just dressed it up a little bit more. My next die set I'll be using is Build a Snowman, also from Fawn. And I've cut out the little snowman, and I'm going to glue a little square of the dark red cardstock behind the eyes and the mouth details. I could have used black here, but I really wasn't planning on using black anywhere in the card, and this just keeps the colors more cohesive. I've cut out a few of the details with the gold cardstock as well, so the arms and the nose, which I know that's a little silly to have a gold carrot and like gold stick arms, but again, trying to stick with the color palette. And I have a burgundy hat. I'm going to ink up around the edges with ground espresso, mostly because I didn't feel like any of my reds were truly dark enough or the right shade to shade these. So brown is always a pretty safe option. I also probably could have done black soot around the edges to give it a little more depth. But once that's done, I am going to use worn lipstick, and I have the little hat band as well as a bow, both from those Build a Snowman die set. And I'm just inking up the edges. I had originally tried to use spun sugar. It was way too light for the cardstock I had. That's why there was already pink on this paper. Now comes the assembly process. I'm just using liquid glue for everything. This was actually probably one of the fastest cards I've made recently, and I'm not sure if it's because it was a lot of die cuts and less of me actually coloring things or what, but this was a fairly easy card to come together, and I highly recommend that if you're just stumped on what to make, pick a color combination first and then see what you can do with your limited color palette. So here I thought I was just going to leave the snowman and the snow white, but I thought it was just too stark white. So I'm going to use the blending brush that I used for the background, and I'm not going to re-ink it. I'm just going to give the snowman and the little snow hill just a small amount of color, especially the snow hill where the snowman will be on top of it. Kind of gives it more of a shaded look. This is a step you could skip if you just wanted to, but again, I just felt like it was just too white. Had I have realized that before, I would not have glued all the pieces on my snowman before I inked it up, but this was just part of the process. For my sentiment, I'm going to stamp it in this rich rosewood ink from Nuvo. And for the words, I'm actually going to bring out my Yeti or Not stamp set because I thought I had more Happy New Year stamps, but apparently I do not. So this is one of the ones that I found it in. I'm just quickly stamping it in that dark red ink to keep with the theme. After everything is glued in place, the only thing that will be left for me to do is to add this panel to a card base. Full disclosure, I don't usually mail my cards out. I'm a card maker, but I'm really bad about sending them out. So most of my cards just end up getting put in a box, and it seems like a waste of card bases to put them on cards that may never see anyone other than me. So, yeah. If this card gets mailed out, I will definitely put a card base on it. But for now, it's just going to be left as a panel. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back with the video soon. Bye!